Okay, students, you just made the quiz. Now it's time for answers and also a nice moment to learn more about the recreation and hospitality industry. Here are the answers. Okay, welcome back to the answer round of the quiz. Hopefully you learned a lot during the quiz, and I will look at some answers with you now. Of course, the real grading is going on by my colleagues, but it's nice to see if you are on the right way in the quiz. So the first question was about the type of recreation you saw. Okay, of course we saw a campsite or a rural campsite in the first picture. We saw a holiday home or a bungalow in Dutch. We saw a themed hotel room. In this case, a hotel room at the Efteling, if you were really zooming in on the picture. And we had a living houseboat in a harbor, which is, of course, a new combination of actually being on water and in a bungalow. We also see tiny houses now more and more. They are meant to be like a hotel room on its own in the nature mainly. We saw a tippy tent, part of the glamping that we see more and more, and we saw one of the tree houses, but there are multiple options for that, as is the same for glamping, of course. Then you looked at the video of Chantal Breen, who is the general manager at one of the holiday home parks in the Netherlands, Hoogvals, from Landal. And she told you something about the camping industry. The biggest difference between bamping and glamping was the first question. Bamping is really back to basic camping, no electricity, no Wi-Fi, in nature, maybe not even a toilet building very close to your campsite. And the other side is glamping. This is actually luxurious camping. You have beds in the tent, you have chairs, maybe even cooking possibilities, and your own bathroom. So that's luxurious camping, and we call that glamping. We talked about the Cap Fun campings, which is a large French chain that is entering the Dutch market more and more. What you will see there is that they often have a lot of water park attractions added to the campsites. They have their own animation figure and character that they use for their animation. And there are a lot of different accommodations next to only camping with a caravan of tent. Then we looked at the International Zaton Holiday Resort. What kind of message or feeling does the resort want to get across? It's a wellness resort, of course, because there's a natural source with very clear water that you can use. But it's also a very diverse resort in which you can find any of the accommodation types that we saw in the first question. The target market is mainly families with children, but also with their hotel rooms. It could be couples. There's even a casino on site, so also for people in their teens who want to maybe have a good night out. There are a lot of facilities for them over there as well. And in low season in a wellness resort, you normally see senior citizens coming in because they want to enjoy the wellness. And the environment in Slovenia is very beautiful. Okay, we go to another chain, Utopia. The message and feeling they want to get across is more about a green, sustainable, let's say overnight stay in a natural environment. They have their own type of accommodations. And the target market is, again, people who love nature, but also young couples that want to be more on a sustainable overnight stay. And they have, of course, all kinds of more natural locations, so people who love nature. What makes Utopia unique? I think it's the combination of the concept in which they try to be in a beautiful spot in nature, somewhere in France, Belgium or the Netherlands, and their own kind of unique accommodations they have, and the food that is offered there. It's also more healthy food. It's often also a site where you don't find any big animation, so it's really like going back to nature and enjoy that surroundings. The blackberry wood, what is very unique in there, it's well, actually a typical English camping that you will see. And again, it's about camping, it's about not that many facilities, and they have changed in their concept, and I've seen it also coming in more senior citizens, because they are actually more and more buying camper vans, and those camper vans can be used throughout the whole season. Now we shift to a different part of the industry. You might not think that it's part of the recreation and hospitality industry, but it is. It is cruise ships. And the first roller coaster that we saw on a boat was from MSC, one of the bigger let's say, operators of cruise ships, but the Carnival Cruise Line had really the first big roller coaster, which actually can measure with a theme park. Their first ship is pretty new, but the oldest ship, the first ship, is from 1972. It's still in operation, refurbished a lot, and still more a basic type of cruise. And if you looked up the oldest ship, it weighs 27,000 tons, and the new ones, the newest ones, will weigh 180,000 tons. So you see the weight has changed, but also the actually possibilities on board. Some of them have a shopping street on the cruise ship, roller coasters, swimming pools, all kinds of new facilities. But actually there are always three major things that you would find. It's recreation on board, it's overnight stay, and a lot of different food and beverage options. The reason why people want more and more, let's say, luxurious holidays, and they see this as a actually new way of traveling, sleeping during the night, changing harbor, coming in a new destination. Okay, question 4 is about innovation in the industry. We have some digitalizations in the new theme park and attraction industry. More and more you see online ticketing, more and more you will see, for instance, also apps that can be used in the park. And what we also see more and more is everything in the process of handling visitors, buying food is digitalized. In 2013, the ANWB said there's one very innovative day out in the, let's say, industry. En het meest innovatieve uitje van Nederland. It was an app that can be used as a form of storytelling in more or less a question hunt that you do. And that's the award they got. A lot of parks are focusing nowadays on sustainability, and the sustainability can be anything. Normally we think about green, but it could also be try to connect to local suppliers or local initiatives. It's about how you actually treat your staff. It can also be what you do to prevent nature from being destroyed, cleaner ways of operating, and everything could be seen in the different examples we gave you. The Efteling, of course, which has a lot of sustainable energy being produced there through solar panels, for instance, but also what they do with wastewater. Disneyland Paris is also very active on this topic, and what they, for instance, also do is they have one of their new resorts completely dedicated to the theme of nature, sustainability, and that means also that they try to produce less CO2, for instance, in those building processes and in their operating processes. Liseberg, last one in Sweden, it's looking at job satisfaction, service and equality, resource and climate efficiency, responsible purchasing, and contributions to the local community and in the local community development. Here you see a very integrated approach on sustainability. And of course, the best one in the theme park industry now is the PortAventura World. It's a big resort in Spain with several theme parks and also hotels. And they actually are the front runner at this moment in everything concerning the different aspects of sustainability. We ask you to show us some examples, and on the basis of the pictures. The first picture is Village Nature, the park of Disney that I told you about near Paris. The second one is Tropical Islands. It's the indoor jungle, let's say so, in Germany. And the third one was the holiday home park of the Efteling. It's called Bosrijk, and it's connected to the fairy tales of Klaas Vaak, but also a very nature-oriented location. The Western tourism recreation industry announced going to take over a big player. Center Parcs is actually being taken over by Pierre et Vacances, which is a French mother company now. They want to take over those different companies because they want to scale. They want to be bigger and in some way also more efficient in costs, in revenue, in marketing. So that's the reason why they do this. Another one is, of course, now the Dutch big chain Roompot taking over Landal, the second operator in the Netherlands right now. And they actually are now allowed, if they lose some parks, to be one organization in the Netherlands and also in the rest of Europe. Then the question about the main reasons why attractions and theme parks and zoos have added accommodation facilities. Well, they want to give the opportunity actually to stay longer, and if you can stay longer you will spend more money. That's one reason. The other one is of course attracting visitors from further away. They have to travel into the resort and then can stay, and it's of course a very unique experience you could offer, and that's the third reason. What will be the biggest holiday recreation resort in Europe when it's completed? It will be in the end the Village Nature that you saw for now, near Disneyland Paris, but not themed in the Disney characters, but more themed in nature and all the things connected to sustainability. All right, let's go to the question 6 parts. Who are the winners of the ANWB's Best Day Trip Attraction of the Netherlands? I have them here. 2011, Efteling. 2012, Toverland. 2013, Gaia Zoo in Limburg. In 2014 and 15, and again the Efteling. 2016, Apenhul. 2017, again Efteling. 2018, Gaia Zoo. 2019, Efteling. 2020, Gaia Zoo. And 2021, Efteling, and I can tell you that if you have the bonus there this year, it was Gaia Zoo again. Okay, write down the name and country of the following parks. At first we see the Efteling, of course, which is well known for its nature. The second one is Shanghai Disneyland. The third one is Liseberg. Then we see SeaWorld Orlando in the United States. And those were already all the pictures. I thought we had more, but that's not. So let's see. Let's go to question 7. The customer experience. Why it's so important to invest in customer experience? Well, that's actually the service that this industry is selling. It's an experience, and they want to be as good as they can be. Gaia Zoo's unique concept, it's actually the concept of different time zones and different themed animal enclosures, and of course the landscaping that they use. So you don't see many fences, it's all pretty natural, and you have the idea you walk in the same area as the animals do. The difference between augmented reality and virtual reality. Augmented is an extra layer that you can lay over the reality. The virtual reality is actually normally experienced with the virtual reality glasses, so you actually lock off your eyes from the reality and you step into another virtual world. What organization, museum park is this? Well, see the images below. First we see, of course, the app of Burgerso. And let's go further. This is in the Natural History Museum in France, Paris, France, where they actually have holograms projected. These talking paintings are in the queue line of the Harry Potter attraction, Hogwarts in Universal Orlando. And this is the island Castaway from Disney, a special dedicated island only for Disney cruise ships. Here you see from the Coastality virtual reality the coaster Blue Fire in Europa Park. And here you see how they actually have that online. And that brings us to question number 8. The work field in which you can work. The trainer manager for Star Wars, you looked at that video, they actually train people in all the things they have to know to work in the themed area of Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland Resort in Orlando. And this is very important because storytelling is for them a very important part. And actually they want to have cast members, that's how they name their staff, acting out a certain story, and also they're dressed in that way and they are part of the experience. So that's why it's very important. The Director of Pricing and Revenue Management, Merchandise and for F&B at Disneyland Resort. Why it's important? Well, again, the word revenue and pricing are being mentioned and we try to earn money in the industry. What different types of job categories were necessary for Disneyland and Disney World in order to operate? Well, we have seen people working in food and beverage, in attractions, technique, show management, crowd management. We also have seen people who are more into guest relations, so they actually communicate with guests. So there are different roles. Actually, it's like a little city which you need. And don't forget, at night, you might think that the park is closed, but a lot of maintenance and cleaning is done during the night, so the park is ready for the next opening day. Okay, these were the answers to the recreation and hospitality quiz. I hope you learned something. And of course, it's an exciting part of the day because our jurors are constantly grading you in this during this day, and the results will be presented at the end of the day. So good luck and hope to see you at the end of the day.